guest, Christopher.
Hey, good to be here.
Welcome to the show.
Good to be here in the corner.
Yeah. It's a tight spot to be, but I always like my friends in the corner.
You know, when you're in the corner, that's where you find out who you really are.
So, Chris, it's good to have you on the show, and you're a part of this awesome podcast. Mm-hmm. Second best, really, in the Monroe County, called Every Scary Horror...
Every horror movie on Netflix.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking of the best show, which is Every Scary show on Netflix.
Every horror movie on Netflix.
The reason I have you on the show is because I was... Late at night one night, I was coming across... a lot of podcasts going on. And I came across you have a podcast, a local podcast. Is it based out of Monroe?
It's based out of Monroe half the time and Ann Arbor half the time.
Oh, so you gotta be classy.
It's a Southeast Michigan podcast.
Oh,
but, yeah.
The air's always cleaner in Ann Arbor.
It just depends on where we can get all the people together. But everyone who is a regular member of the show has roots in Monroe.
And how long has this podcast been going on?
About a year and a half, actually. We started, I think, fall of last year. So.
And is there a schedule to your...
Every other Thursday.
Every other
Thursday.
Oh, man.
Unless something weird happens. We deviate a little bit. But generally, every other Thursday, we're talking about a horror movie on Netflix.
Now, where do you pick your horror movies from?
That's a good question, because the concept behind every horror movie on Netflix is that we're trying to get through all of them systematically. So we're watching most of the time in alphabetical order.
What happens if Netflix adds another one?
We haven't gone back yet. We're just plugging along, and then they've been backfilling behind us. It's really, it's like the guy who rolls the boulder up the hill and it rolls back down.
Cleopatra.
Yeah, Cleopatra.
Anywho, so how many movies have you done so far up to this point?
Oh, I don't know. More than 50, I think. I think we're on like episode 55 or 56, but we have a couple like bonus episodes in there. So. And
how many people are part of this watch every horror film on Netflix?
Yeah, well, right now we have a core group of 3. There's me, there's my buddy Patrick Dunn, and our buddy Steven Sonoris, who we are the core group, and then we bring in guests.
Calm down there, okay? Sorry. Lisa was throwing things again. Wasn't there originally a 4th member that was supposed to be on the show? I think the original, the OG cast was supposed to have a special person. I'm not going to make any names, but Benjamin Capaul was in the original script of this stupid podcast that's blowing up. People love it. So you got 3 of you, and you guys have been doing this for a year and a half now. You got some special guests every once in a while. What's your goal? To get through every... What if you get through all Z, and then what do you do?
We're never going to watch every horror movie on Netflix. It's a never-ending task. They're always removing and adding. As long as Netflix exists, we will have work to do.
Okay, well, I got some pointers for your podcast.
Great.
I know you wanted to hear them, so we're going to show you a clip of 5 pointers that the Capaul's Corner staff have come across, and the number 1 podcast of all the scary movies of Netflix.
Don't you say that name.
Turn to the prompter. Hi, I'm Ben Capaul. You might know me from certain things like Capaul's Corner or Ouch, That Hurt. A great film and an even better love story. But today I'm going to be talking about podcasts, the do's and the don'ts of your podcaster. Today we're looking at Christopher Slat. A 30-year-old, somewhat average, kind of loser, geek. Spends a lot of time in his parents' basement, eating, you can name it, cheese puffs. We're going to look into his podcast, Every Horror Movie on Netflix. Now, I'm going to start by saying this, not a great name. What you want to name is something with something sexual in it. Now, I'm going to be looking at Chris, and we're going to be judging everything that he does on this podcast. Now, here's a little clip here. Now, look at what Chris is doing. First of all, does he ever use his left hand? Does he have a problem with it? Maybe he's a little bit slow. Maybe mentally, he never really passed 8th grade. These are all things that I've noticed and seen while he's talking. Now, let's take a little breather. Listen to what he's saying.
Well, I thought the killer looked completely ridiculous. I thought the portrayals of women and minorities were absolutely heinous, and everyone should be ashamed. I did like the scene where...
That is the other problem that I have with this podcast. First of all, what is he using? Is that a tin can? Is that like can you like spray your lawn flowers with that after it's done? Everything's wrong. But the most thing I've noticed is, do you see his shirt? He buttons it perfectly. If you want to be a good podcaster, you always unbutton 4 buttons irregularly. This actually brings the attention of the podcaster to the center and then brings them back just a little bit to the right. Because if you've learned anything about podcasting, everybody listens to only the right earbud. Now, other things that I've noticed that Chris is doing is, do you see the sloppy hand thing he does? Every time he moves his hand in this kind of generation, it makes this weird... It distracts the listener, and honestly, I think it just distracts everything. On top of his not wearing glasses, his shirt style, I mean, come on, what is this, the 1970s? And not wearing any product in his hair, I give this podcast a thumbs down. Thank you.
Oh, those are all good pointers, aren't they?
We're always
Really
trying to
dig
improve
in,
the
don't
show.
they?
We're always trying to improve the show. Thanks for the suggestions, sir.
I got 2 questions. One, do you know about the rival podcast, the other Treehouse that's right next to you guys, called Watching Every Scary Movie on Netflix? They actually go from Z to A. And their goal is to have the new material, so you're basically doing their material. What do you have to say about that? How do you feel about that? I mean...
I need to address one of these cameras head on and tell you that every scary movie on Netflix, you better watch your... We know where you live.
Can you please, the kids. There are kids in the audience, okay?
You better watch your...
Sorry, Netflix.
We know where you live. We know your names. We've listened to every episode.
I wanted you to know I had you on the show because I wanted to bury the hatchet. Let's just be the original horror movies of Netflix. Let me be part of the machine that drives you. Let me carry you. Let me be your wings that forever you rest upon when your golden chariot of horror movies races across the sky and the clouds open up and there he is, that angelic Capaul's Corner presence, that one that really just makes your zits pop on your face. The one, the only, the true. All the horror movies of Netflix.
That was the most beautiful thing I've ever heard.
I don't know if I can. I gotta be honest, fans. I don't know if I can do the show if he doesn't accept. They're cheering. Do you hear them? Accept. Please.
I didn't know you wanted to be on the show that bad.
I've always wanted this more than anything. Your tears are sharp.
Mom, you wouldn't guess. Yeah. Chris said I could come back to the show. I know, right? Finally a good show. Oh, hold on. Oh, it's Chris. Let me take this, Mom. Okay, thanks.
Yep, Ben, it's me.
Hey, Chris, really excited. I was just talking about...
Look, I talked to the lawyers. It's not going to work out, man. They watched the show. They had some serious concerns. And they said Steve is signed till 2035, and there's nothing we can do about it.
Really? Steve?
I'd love to have you on in 2035.
Yeah, I could probably do 2035.
No, there's nothing I can do. There's nothing anyone can do. So...
Yeah, pencil me in. Alright. It's good while it lasted.
Okay, take care.